All right, everybody. Welcome back to the pit. In the pit with Jeff. Part 2 of, it's not a restoration. I would say it's more just maintenance on my dad's Taylorcraft, 74-inch Taylorcraft. I think it's a DGA design, scratch built. I think this is his second one or maybe the third one. I know he had one done up for that we used to do, just standoff scale in our own little contests at our field and stuff. It had working doors and everything, and I think he just banged this one out way back for fun, and unfortunately never finished it, the lettering and stuff. He might have just lost interest in it. But anyways, we had gone over it in the first video, made a list. One of the things that I noticed was it felt funny in the elevator linkage. And what I found, I'll come in with you guys, is I know you had done a big blob of solder onto here, but the push rod, the end was never epoxied in there. I don't know if you guys can see it moving in and out. And then you drill a little hole in your push rod and you bend to 90 and you keep it short, and you feed it in and then lock it up, and then you push this part back in and it locks everything. But that was some slop, and you can even see that, over time it'll wear that. So that was a good find. The other end, you had just done a big blob of, put on a piece of brass tubing and soldered on probably a 440 connector. So what we did was I had found a push rod that I had on the one end. On this end, it just, I don't know where that went now. Hang on, watch over my head. Okay. So on the one end, it just had a short stubby 256 with a threaded rod with some clevis. But on this end, it had a pretty long 440 rod there. And then if it being in the fuselage, I don't know if it would flex there. I could put a plate across and a piece of brass tubing, but if it doesn't track straight, it could bind and stuff. So what I did was I went into my spares, found one of these ends here. I don't know if it'll come out. Found one of these ends here, drilled it out for 440. Took one, drilled it out for 440. So this was my idea. I'm gonna slide this onto here, down to there. Took a piece of, had some arrow shaft, well, carbon fiber rod, push rods. You can buy these, the kits. I put that over there. You can see all that. Drilled this one out. We're going to take it, epoxy that into there, epoxy that all up. Heat shrink's pretty good. Put a piece of heat shrink over the joint, and that'll fix that up. Switched over to this end. This is 3/32 drill rod. Got out my 440 die, ran some threads on it. If anything, that'll be the weak link, is clevis is pulling off that. Staggered, I don't know if you can see here. I staggered my 90s there. Got these pretty well even. Check for lengths. Or be pretty pretty close there, in there for finished lengths. The plug here on this end, I just hogged it out on the sides. Oh, sorry, that's my dad's. Look, that's the wrong one. So on this one here, this was for 256 wire or whatever. Hogged it out with a drill bit, drilled it out so that can slide inside there. And then to strengthen this up, I just took a piece of dowel, just grooved it out with the Dremel, and then ran the drill bit, I think 7/64 in there. Made a groove in it. Again, that'll get stuck down in there, all epoxied. Make sure everything's square. Piece of heat shrink over that, double that up. All right. And that'll be that part. Then I'll move, let's see if I can move the tail down. Underneath, I removed the covering. I took the metal off. There's definitely, I don't know if you guys can see the split in there, but it definitely moves there. So it's got a break right there. I don't think I have a break back at the spar back there. So then what I did was I dug out my old I bought one of these, this Great Plains cordless slot machine. Most of the time I like the Robarts hinges just around and stuff, but I bought this when I was doing my dad's. I built him a Goldberg Cub for Father's Day one day, ready to fly, radio engine, everything in it, ready to go. And I bought this for that because I got for slotting all the hinges. So I peeled back some of the covering, set up the little guide, used some tape, had tape on here, set up my guide for the center line, used the slotter, ended up cutting a slot, got my picky pick, oh, my big head's in the way, got my pick in there, opened it up, piece of 1/16 plywood, just rounded the edge a bit, and we're going to make a spline to go in there, and then we'll flip it over and we'll block up some balsa on the inside. I open up the other side just in case, but it's pretty let me turn you guys around here. I thought it had a ding there, but it looks pretty good there. So we're just gonna maybe just double that up on the inside. All right, so that's as far, and then everybody can change switches and stuff. Here, I'll just roll this around. I changed out the switch harness in there. He had a Dean's plug on there for charging and that, and I'll probably be just using a Life battery, and I'll be just taking the battery out of it for charging and stuff. So anyways, we'll leave it at that, and I'm going to mix up some epoxy, do a little bit of goobering, and we'll be back. All right, hang tight.